Hello, my friends. How are we doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Looking into the markets as I like to do. And I have pulled up here ARM, the wonderful ARM. A little bit zoomed out here, but 142. So it's still kind of just holding the range at the moment. We were previously looking at it a couple months ago, as you can tell by our little squigglies we have drawn on here. And it made a beautiful little move. Let's go back in time. Look at that. Look at that scribbles we made. So we had a trading idea on this in the past, and this is great for an example's sake as far as going back and looking at what your idea is and how it played out, and how that kind of like pushes you into the next level of, okay, I've seen that before. Nothing changes, especially for me personally, but perhaps for you too, if you're not recording your ideas and your setups. It gets lost in the void of forgetfulness, and you have to put it down. You got to write it down, or in my example, put it into a video format or draw it out. It's like the best way to up your game in this industry, so to speak. Which is like one of the people I consider my mentors. That's kind of something that really got me on a whole nother level, on a large step up in my scale in this business, is being able to put it down on the chart. It doesn't matter how pretty or ugly it is. Put it down in record format, that your previous ideas and setups, so that you can come back and look at it. So let's get into it. This was back in September, okay? September, last time I was talking about ARM in depth. What was I discussing? My idea was we were right around here, okay? We were right here. And my idea was for price to come down and stop some people out down here and then continue up. Now, you might look at it and say, well, it did just that. Well, not quite. We're going to clear the board here. We've already seen what we had in the past, so now we can get clean here. We were looking at it here, and I was discussing how, okay, if I want to buy ARM now, I'd prefer it to come down here to the $100 area and then go up. Okay? Well, it started doing that. It started going where we wanted it to go, so we wanted to get filled. But we never got filled on that order. Why? Because our order was a little bit below. So we never got filled. And price stopped on a dime and went up without us. So should we be kicking ourselves because, oh man, see, it did exactly what we were saying. Look at that. That's set up from September. You had an idea, I had an idea of buying at 115, 110, 105, and selling at 135, 140, 150, but it never did it. It never filled. The market, it's gonna do what it needs to do. It might not fill you all the time, but the reason I'm proud of this particular setup and it's a great trade for me personally, even though I didn't get in the trade, is because the execution was correct on my style. I had my limits and I left them there. Just because they didn't get filled doesn't mean that I was wrong. I was still right, but it just didn't have as big of a pullback as I thought it would. That's just a slight pullback and then hop and skip away. So that was an interesting excuse me. That was an interesting idea that we had in the past, and that's how you can have winning trades but not make any money. So let's go into today, January the 7th, 2025. What's going on? What's happening? Oh man, look at that, $143, and only a few days ago we were at $123. Excuse me, I'm still coming off this sick I had. So you're thinking, oh well, we've been going up for 3 days, we're going to keep going up. I mean, come on. When you're zoomed in on the daily like this, what's it been doing for the past 2 months since the beginning of November? It's just been up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's been doing nothing. It's just been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, as a trader, you kind of like this price action because you get movement. Go down, go up, go down, go up, Stop them out. Stop them out. Stop them out, Buy at other people's losses, sell at other people's losses. Buy at other people's losses, and projection, sell at other people's losses. So, like scalping opportunity, ARM has been playing great lately. But what about like investing? I just want to buy some ARM and then I want to hold it for a while. Well, okay. If you're investing, then you need to zoom out. Okay? So you're zoomed out a little bit looking at the general history of this thing. And ARM for my lifetime is always going to be one of these stocks that I watch. Why? Because I'll never forget the day it was listed at $80. Okay? I'll never forget that day. I've told that story previously on a in-depth ARM video I did. But I'll never forget the day it was listed. So it's always going to be one of those ones that I watch. So I've been a witness to the entire lifespan of ARM holdings on the NASDAQ, if that makes sense. So now we're at 144. So in retrospect, looking at the history of it, our high was 188. Our low was at 46. So in the history, it's 46 and 188. So you're sitting at 144. You're on the high end of the total price history of this thing. But that might not necessarily mean you're at a premium. Because it's fairly new, this company. And one thing that is easily identifiable on ARM is I'm kind of getting that sixth sense already on ARM, that ARM is going to be it's going to be akin, in my humble opinion, to happening like Nvidia. Not in the price of the company or anything like that, but just in the way the price moves on the chart. Because it's going to be one of these companies that people are going to be buying it at a discount, but it's never going to give you that discount. You know, looking like a little uptrend here. Okay, so when you're looking at ARM, you're like, man, it is on a clear uptrend. You know, it just goes up and up and up. You know, and it can keep going up as long as people keep buying it. It's gonna keep going up. You know, what's it gonna take for it to drop? It's gonna take some selling. So you're not really seeing a lot of sharp selling off on the chart. I mean, look over here. That's a sharp sell-off right there. Okay, this is like a pullback. Okay, it's not that sharp. You know, that is sharp. Look at that wick. That is a disgusting wick right there. This is just selling. You know, that's just a bam. That nasty wick. So there's no reason to me why ARM can't continue to go higher. I mean, if you look at NVIDIA, it just continues up and up and up. ARM could be the same way. Your pullback might have been right here at that 125 area. That might have been it on your pullback, as this was your pullback here. I personally wouldn't be buying today. No. Today, I would just be watching. If I'm going to buy, I'd let it, at the very least, I would let it come down to here and kind of play with that candle a little bit. Even this candle. This actually, coincidentally enough, is a bit of a demand area if you play that. Because you have a red candle immediately followed by a green candle which goes higher than the red candle. Okay? And then price moves away. So we have shown a slight demand area here at 125. So that would definitely be a interesting area to make a purchase at, setting an order at 125. It goes along with our little uptrend on our weekly, and on the daily it gives us a chance to have a little pullback and gobble up some more. That's kind of how I envision ARM at the moment. And another one that I wanted to look at, Johnson & Johnson. Last time we talked about this a few months ago, we were talking about how there's no reason why Johnson & Johnson can't make some giant round-trip maneuver. And 3 months later, it's doing just that. It's continuing down, you know. There's no reason for me not to go ahead and place a buy on Johnson & Johnson at 110, 100, 120, 115. That's discount price for me. Why? You have all of this consolidation up here for the past 4 years or so. So to put everybody in the past 3-4 years that has been buying Johnson & Johnson, it's in their portfolio. They buy it personally on themselves. All it would take is a couple of sharp months down, and everybody in the past 3 years is at a loss. So I always tell myself too, in order for me to win, it's unfortunate, but everybody else has to lose. So for everybody to lose, that's why I've been watching Johnson & Johnson. Because I'm waiting for the time when it decides to push everybody in the negative And when the masses start seeing that their Johnson & Johnson shares are in the negative, they start selling them off. For who? For you and me, my friends, to buy at a discounted price. Because we understand how the market moves. It tends to make cycles. So when we're buying at the discounted price, we're holding, because we have experience and we've seen that price tends to revisit the same area again. It's gonna do it. It loves doing that. It loves tricking everybody up here to sell at a loss. So they're selling down here because they see that their $14,000 that they had in Johnson & Johnson is now only worth $10,000. Oh man, we just lost $4,000 on Johnson & Johnson. You know what? I better cut it off before it goes to zero. So we buy that up. They lost $4,000 off their 100 shares they had on Johnson & Johnson. We're buying that up and we hold it, and it comes right back up to $146 a share. And then they're kicking themselves because they realize, oh, I should have bought more down here. No, they sold it at a loss. And then it comes right back up to 146. Oh, I should have just held it. I wouldn't have lost anything. Why did I sell it at the low? I don't know. Why did you sell it at the low? It happens every day, day in, day out. So that's kind of the mid to late 2025, early 2026 idea I have on Johnson & Johnson is a nice little scooping maneuver and come back up. If I buy at 115, 110, 105, I can promise you I'm selling at 135, 140, 145. It's that simple. I'm not greedy. I'm not looking to take things to the moon, so to speak. Okay? I don't have to have that happen to make money. Okay? If I buy at 110 and I sell at 130, I'm making money, my friends. I'm not too concerned with it going to $500 a share. I don't have that much faith in it. Okay? I'm looking to make money in my lifetime. Okay? Zooming out even more, I mean, look how high we are. At any moment, price could just rip it down. I mean, that $100 price would be a healthy pullback that we have drawn out. But in trading, you have to be prepared for anything. What, you don't think price could come down here to $50? You don't think price could come down here to 80? Price can do whatever it wants to do. Honestly, looking at this now, even more zoomed out, what does this kind of remind you of? Looking at it now, it reminds me of Dollar General right now. Dollar General, what was it, like $2.80? And then it dropped down to like $75, if I'm not mistaken. This looks like the exact same potential setup as Dollar General. I don't care about the company. Okay, I'm just looking at the price right now and how the markets behave and how they take your money. A lot of people are upside down in Dollar General right now. God bless them. Somebody I know personally is, but I'm sure there are millions others that are in a negative on Dollar General. Okay? What's to make you think that it can't happen on Johnson & Johnson too? It can happen. If Johnson & Johnson ripped it down to... I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now. This is funny to me personally. Johnson & Johnson, $76 buy order. I'm telling you, my friends, that's going to be a banger. Buying Johnson & Johnson at $75 and then wait 5 years. It's going to be worth $200 a share. That's not good investment for you? Long term, for me, that's beautiful. That's twice your money, 2.5 times your money. And that's in the stock market, you know. So I'm just telling you, Johnson & Johnson is going to be something that I'm not going to touch until I see some action happening, okay? If it goes down to 100 and starts kind of bouncing from there, I'm taking a buy. And I'm taking it up to 140. If it starts viciously going down, I'm sitting on my hands and I'm waiting for it to do the same thing that Dollar General did. Going down to $75. It's really funny how it's looking like that. Honestly, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking it could even hit that $60 area. I mean, right here's a previous consolidation area. No reason why it can't be here. What was that, 75? That is 75. That's hilarious. You see how funny that is? That looks exactly like Dollar General. Dollar General had a previous consolidation area of about $75. It was up to like 200 some, and then it just pulled down all the way to that $75 consolidation area again. So keep an eye out, my friends. Johnson & Johnson is definitely one that I am going to be watching, and I'm going to be placing some notification alerts on this stock. I'll get one at 110, and I'll set another one for 85. And if it gets down to 85, I'm most definitely buying 85, 80, 75, 70. Those are going to be beautiful buys on that. Long term, is Johnson & Johnson going to go anywhere? Who knows? I mean, personally, I don't think so. They're like the king of first aid kits, you know? I mean, they do a lot more than that. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, they have their hands in a lot. So I have some interesting thoughts on this Johnson & Johnson. I know it sounds silly to hear me excited about that, but you know, I love watching the markets and see how things pan out, and it's kind of funny to see if this is going to play out just like Dollar General did. Dollar General surprised a lot of people. And it was interesting to me too when I looked at it. I wasn't following it, but when I looked at it after the move had happened, I said, "Whoa, that's an interesting maneuver there. That could be a potential for a buy." And now I'm kind of having that Nostradamus sixth sense, you know, ethereal mind meld going on with seeing Johnson & Johnson play out the same maneuver. Because the markets they can kind of be boring at times. They can do the same things over and over again, but never at the same time. So I know it was a bit long-winded, but I had a lot of fun talking with everybody today. Send me a comment, love, hate. Remember, this is just an open journal. That's all it is. It's just me talking about a subject I love, sharing everything I have. I just love talking about trading, price action, everything. It is a passion of mine. And consider this an open book journal to go back on and see how my journey progresses and how we can have nice discussions about a beautiful subject matter. And I will talk to everybody later. Peace.